I've played up. Well, not really played up at all, because it's just an NA Barra. But I've got another one. She's been sitting out for a little bit, but I don't really care for any of it other than the crank and possibly the head. Because even though Freddie was running and the blocks are all good, I believe, and whatnot, the crank, bit cooked on the snout here. Not great on where the harmonic sits. In general, probably needs a polish. So if I can get another crank, I believe that one should be pretty good. If I get another head, that'll fix a few other issues I got. Just starting again, basically. So even though this thing was running, the crank, pretty well throw away. The head, not too stressed, throw that one away. I'm gonna get to stripping this, all of it, off, and we'll see what I find. Let's see how good the insides look on this thing. Come on, fancy the more one. Ooh, yeah. Hello. Yuck. A little bit of rust going. A little bit of water, I'd say. Oh, head's off. This is the bit that I'll care for. And yeah, I mean, they're all there and the head looks all pretty good. A little bit of corrosion on it, but that's all right. Oh, there it goes. Lovely. Highly recommend that tool for pulling a motor apart. So this was number 2. And yeah, I mean, the bearing's got some marking on it. Let's not lie about it. Oh, that's also, it feels brand new, full floating of stiffness. But the crank itself, bit I care about, good. Very good. So in general, crank looks the goods. I reckon the main caps are going to look all pretty fine too. I do believe that I stuffed up. I've marked that, pushing that piston that was in the rusted bore out. Idiot me. I should have pulled the crank out, looked after it, and then worried about the piston. My fault. So that might be able to get machined out. There's no drama. Or I'm an idiot and can't use it. Whoops. I pulled the oil pump off the standard one. This is mine, which is still a standard housing front, but I've got a billet backing plate, and this is just stock backing plate. No real big difference other than strength on that. But my housing is ported. You'll see it's got some Dremel marks there, and in here you get to real sharp edges compared to, like, let's just, yeah, a sharp edge machined in. They just open it up a little bit. That's an atomic ported housing. This is just your standard. Oh, it's actually a big difference here. Like, let me get something to point with. Sharp and square and whatnot, and then this is rounded the whole way around. Like, it's a big difference there actually. And then yeah, in there just got a real little sharp edges, and this has got all of them still. So not a big difference, but enough that they must think it's worthwhile doing. And yeah, they've taken a little bit. That's chamfered out. That's dropped, and completely different actually. There's got 2 little holes, and this has been made into like big rectangles. That's the pressure relief. But reason for pulling it apart was this stock pump gear. And if you recall, my atomic pump gear was really bad on my old crank. But new crank, this is what it had on it. Not bad, but it's not great in my opinion. It's got a bit of wobble to it. So that'd be real bad on my old crank that come out of Freddie. And this is the atomic one. And everyone's like, yeah, atomic sucks, rah, rah, rah. But maybe it is my crank, because that is tight to even get on. And then there is a little bit of movement there, but minor. Like way better than what was on my old crank. So that's what I'm here for, to fix that problem. I'm waiting on parts, basically. I got my pistons. So Cosworth pistons ready to go. That's the old one, it's a bit dirtier. But yeah, these are ready to go. And I'm waiting on my rods. I got a new manifold coming. I got billet caps and girdle coming. Like, I'm pumped to see my parts. Pistons, you wait to see the rods. The rods should be pretty fancy as well. But they haven't arrived, and they're still not going to be here till next week. So I wanted to just film something for you so I could make a video. While I'm waiting on my parts, I pulled the valve springs out of my head, and I got all the info of what the pressures are and seat pressure and stuff out of info compared to stock, which I thought was interesting. Checking out my head here and pulling some valve springs to see what these valve springs are. I know they're aftermarket, but what are they? Here's my valves. They're just stock intake and exhaust. Does have the O stamped on them, which means they're the turbo ones. And you'll be happy to know, if you care, stainless. They are legit stainless. Don't know, I've heard they could be Inconel, however you want to pronounce it, but there's something decent because not magnetic. They are up here. So, anywho, that's them. I wrecked 2 of them in cylinder 5. Whoops. I'm over here checking the spring tension because I want to know if I need to upgrade valve springs or what the go is. So, I'm in here at the moment with a stock one from an FG turbo head. Stock. We have a car on the dyno. What is it? It's a Ford Crossflow. Just been built by Ray himself. It's run on methanol. It's pretty trick. I'll go show you shortly. They're running it in. They just built it back to this because that was getting pretty loud. Stock valve spring at 1.5 seat height, that is, without a retainer. Comes in at 87.2 pounds. Or atomic goes off of at 1.49 for height. Seat pressure of 88.8 pounds. I should write LB. Stock. This is my intake. At 1.5, 91.2 compared to 87. So it's a little bit more, but I wouldn't say it's heaps. And then my exhaust come in very similar at 1.5. I was changing measurements here, but 1.5 was 91.6, so 91.2, pretty similar. So we'll go for an inch lift on these ones. So I can't remember what it was, but I think they got pretty close to spring bind. Again, pretty close to bind there. And all of a sudden our pressure will shoot up because I think I can feel it getting, that's it. That's a, maybe right at it, yeah, and look at our pressure. So if I come right off that, to our height that we want. 94 before, 191. Can't remember what the stock one was anymore. 180 something, I think. So 190, and the pack ones on their website are classes 225, I think, for £35. These must be right on it if I want to run £35 a boost, which I quite easily may. So maybe I just go full hog, buy a stage 2 or 3, probably 3 head, ported head. But I also did all of this. This has got a lot of writing on it. So basically I've been doing all this thickness testing with this thickness tester. I'll show you how it works. It's pretty legit. Apparently, the thinnest amount of material is the back of cylinder 6 and cylinder 5. And they're right, because I'm like 5s, 6, 5s. Cylinder 4 goes down 4.7 there. Cylinder 5, 4.8. Cylinder 6, 4.4. Bit thinner, bit too thin. They say they aim for about 5 mil, 200 thou. I got 170 thou, or 4.5 mil. So that sucks. So I don't want to have to try and find a new block or crank. I already got a crank again. I could, I know they're about. I can get one. I can spend the money and do it. Then I need to thickness test it, and if it's not good, well then I'm wasting my time. So I think I'm just going to wing it. And I reckon I'll semi-grout fill it. I reckon I'll half grout fill the block. So then it's more rigid to suit the main caps. A half grout fill. So these are your Welsh plugs. I'm going to fill it up to the top. So I'll be left with like 50 mil, not even, of coolant passage through the block. I'll run an oil cooler. That'll stiffen up the whole bottom end to suit the billet caps. But the way this thing works, so once it's on, you put some ultrasound goop on the end of this piece. It'll start beeping. And then to know that it's all in, it's calibrated, you hold it on the end of this thing. It should read 6.3. It's not, so I'll calibrate it. 6.3 on the dot. And then you come over here. Might be a bit hard to see with the GoPro, to be honest. Yeah, hold this on in here. With enough goop. It's a little bit of a challenge, see, for 4.6. Because it's round, it wants to rock a bit that way. Obviously left and right's alright, up and down's a bit of a challenge. On the deck, you can see I've done the deck everywhere and I've done all the bores. The deck's like 15mm thick everywhere. Yeah, see, 15mm. And go over here. 17 there, 16. Yeah, this thing's legit. For testing thickness of metal, I'm impressed. If anyone has any tips for grout filling, what product you use, how to do it, what you recommend doing, how to prep the surface to clean it, hit me up. I'd appreciate that. I've never done it before. And that's why I'm here. I'm learning. I'm building a motor from scratch. And yeah, just take it all in. I'm enjoying it. It's taking a lot of time. Like I knew I'd be waiting on parts. And I'd be waiting on parts.
Uncle Dan is so happy.
He's happy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Eloise is back. Say hey, everyone.
Hey.
She's back. She's been sick, so she's feeling much better and she's happy now. And that's why I didn't put a video out too. We all got the flu. So sorry, everyone.
Hi.
You're filming yourself, darling. Can you see Dad?
Yeah.
There you go. Hold that there. So I knew I'd be waiting on parts, but I'm still waiting, and now I'm pretty keen to get it happening. You want to see Eloise?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. But now that I'm getting all these parts together, I'm pretty keen to get this thing machined and put together, rotating assembly in, head on, put it back in there. I've got a few things new coming I'm keen to show you. And yeah, that's pretty well all I have to share with you at the moment. That's an update. Anyone got any good advice or thoughts or comments, put them down below. Appreciate it. Hit subscribe, get that number going. I need to start pushing harder to get numbers up. And love you all. Thanks.